Have you ever told your child to say they're sorry? You be sorry right now. You tell him you're sorry. Say it like you mean it. This is a very, very common parenting tool, and one that is actually quite faulty. So for today's peek at parenting, I would like to tell you my view on saying you're sorry, why it's not effective, and then just give you a few ideas of what you can do instead. I have 4 main reasons that I think forcing our kids to say sorry is not a good tool. The first one is an empty sorry really isn't worth anything. We all know when someone walks up to us and says, I'm sorry I, pushed you around in that meeting, even if they had just said, hey, sorry about that, you still pick up that the energy, the real need to apologize behind it isn't there. And our kids can see through that too. Now, what happens in the situation with your colleague, where your colleague says this, obviously, you're not going to trust them as much. You know that they might do it again another time, that they're not truly sorry. And therein lies the problem, because not only is it an empty sorry, but now instead of fixing the relationship, which is a part of what the sorry tool is for, okay, sorry is meant to help us repair damage in a relationship. Instead, it creates distrust. So where we have 2 kids playing together and we force one to say sorry, it actually increases distrust. The second thing that it does is it actually sets us up as a parent for a power struggle. Now, in a future video, I will talk about power struggles in detail, but what we need to understand for our purposes today is that we want to avoid power struggles wherever we can, because anytime we get into them, we lose. Power struggles happen when our kids have control of whatever it is we want them to do. When we want them to say something like, say you're sorry, we are trying to force them to do something, and that opens the door to a possible power struggle. The third thing is that when we tell our kids to be sorry, we're actually telling them to disconnect from whatever it is they're feeling at that moment, and instead to feel a different way. Now, being sorry is actually something that comes from deep within us. Okay, when we empathize with the other person, when we think about what we've done and recognize that it probably wasn't the best action at the time, that it didn't move us forwards in our relationship or in our job or just in life in general, and we actually regret what we cannot force that feeling. It comes about naturally on its own if it's going to come about at all. There are things you can talk about that will help it to come about, which I'll share with you in a moment, but you can't force it to happen. So when we tell our kids, you say you're sorry right now, we're telling them disconnect from how you're feeling because it's wrong, and instead listen to me. Self-awareness, emotional intelligence, all those kinds of things we're hearing more and more about all the time now, are all about tuning into how you feel, recognizing that they are just feelings, that feelings are signals, and accepting the feelings, controlling your behavior, but accepting the feelings. In that moment, we're telling them don't accept how you feel, which might be excited because of what you've just done, happy that you ruined that person's picture, satisfied that you did whatever you did. We're telling them disconnect from all those feelings and feel this way instead. Now think about that. If our child listens to us and says they're sorry, even though they're not feeling sorry, we've essentially told them to lie. We spend a lot of time as parents trying to teach our kids to tell the truth, to always be honest. The truth conquers all. And here we are telling them, I want you to lie. And that leads us right into the 4th reason I don't like forcing our kids to say they're sorry. And that is when our kids lie and say they're sorry, and good things come as a result. Because the reality is, by saying they're sorry, they now get to continue playing, or that person stays on as their friend, or they still get to have a cookie, or whatever the case might be. They've just found out how easy it is to use sorry as a manipulation tool. Instead of using it to make up and to say they really feel badly for what they have done, they now recognize that, hey, all I got to do is say I'm sorry. I don't have to feel sorry. I just have to say I'm sorry, and all's good. I get to continue on. And in that moment, we have taught them how to use what is supposed to be a beautiful, powerful tool to tell other people that we didn't mean to do what we did, how to manipulate it. That's what they've learned. So those are the 4 reasons that I don't like it. Now, it's your choice. You get to use whatever you would like with your kids, of course. But I want you to be aware of that. And I also want to give you some other tools just in case that you recognize what I've just said as true and think, yeah, maybe I should have another way of dealing with this. What I like to do is anytime I'm in a situation where I feel like my child should be sorry, instead of telling them to be sorry or to say they're sorry, I'll ask them, did you mean to hurt her? Did you mean to destroy that picture? Did you mean to ruin my garden? When I ask those kinds of questions, it tells my child that he or she needs to think internally. They need to think about, why did I do this and did I mean to do it? Now, chances are they meant to do it. In which case, they might say to you, yes, I was mad. She took my truck. I wanted my truck back. That's already more information than you would have gotten if you had just gone in and said, say you're sorry. Now it opens the door to all kinds of other conversation. Not that I want you to go super verbal on your kids, okay? But I do want you to think about, hey, this is a good opportunity then to say, so can you think of another way you might have got your truck? And have that conversation. Or how would you feel if someone came up and destroyed something you had been working on for a long time that was really important to you? How would that make you feel? That's an empathy tool. Or even having that conversation about, I think you really enjoy playing with her. And if you hurt her when she comes over, do you think she's going to want to be your friend? Do you think she'll want to play with you? I think if it were me, I would have trouble trusting you. I wouldn't want to be around you if I thought you might hit me. These are all opportunities to go in different directions with our kids and do all kinds of teaching in that moment. That's what we call a teachable moment. And what we're doing is we're taking full advantage of that. So I encourage you to think about what you can do as a parent to help your child feel sorry, not just say they're sorry. And in fact, that's often where I would go, is I might say to my child, now how are you going to make it up to her? How are you going to let her know that she can trust you in the future? And they might say, I'll say I'm sorry. Well, that's a great idea. But how are you going to show her that you're sorry? She might not believe you, that you didn't mean to hurt her. And so we're helping them to explore how their behavior is affecting their relationship, or how their behavior is getting them into trouble, and to think about different ways that they could have handled it instead. By doing all of this, we are truly helping them to understand the power of the word sorry. And it is supposed to be a very powerful, wonderful word. I'd love to hear your feedback on this idea or on any of the other Peek at Parenting videos. And you can leave them right here below or send me an email. Until next time, I'm Debbie Pokornik, and this has been a Peek at Parenting.